The views and opinions expressed on this program do not reflect the company, owners, management, staff, clients, or partners.
It's Wednesday, the second day of February 2022. Welcome to the Daily Hour, brought to you by Medical House One Communications and Lindos. I'm Jamal Hartman. She's Sherry Vanderpool, and Leanna Lambert will be with us in a bit to bring you the latest in her news break, brought to you by People's Pharmacy. Testing. One. Testing. 1, 2, 3. Sherry.
Yes.
I'm hilarious. It's Wednesday. Middle of the week, getting over the hump. Halfway there. How you feeling?
I mean, I'm feeling good. I'm just like ready to get over this hump. You know, we just had Friday, the weekend, and I'm already can't wait for the weekend to come. Like that's scary.
Why are you looking so forward to the weekend? You don't enjoy weekdays?
I enjoy week mornings. I don't always enjoy.
I don't know why she's acting like I was trying to call out about something. I really wasn't.
I've got to stay on my toes with you, Jamal. So that
I was not. No, I think it's so weird. Like I think the majority of us are like that. We look so forward to weekends. Weekends coming over before we can really enjoy them. Like, one of the things I remember talking about was how during weekends people tend to do more work at home and don't even get to relax. Right? It's crazy.
Listen.
It's crazy.
I'm that person. Clean, do all of this. Yeah.
Anyway. We're going to change the world in regards to how weekends work. I did see the UK trialing that 4-day work week. So we'll check that out. Good morning, everyone. Thanks for making us part of your daily routine. Another good one today as Tamara Richardson stops by live today to discuss redefining our best. Looking forward to that conversation because our best is not the same. The daily play, it's music today. It's music. Oh, change your tone there, huh?
Do I usually do good with music? I'm not sure.
I mean,
it's just so bad. But anyway,
usually do good with anything.
Exactly.
No, you've got this. You've got this. But a lot to talk about, folks, and we're gonna talk about something. And let's be honest, I don't follow celebrity stuff. I don't watch a lot of TV shows. Like I follow a lot of newsy stuff, right? I read stuff. I follow things I can learn from. There are certain realistic shows that I might bounce off of to gather more information. But today we've got to have another important conversation. And when I returned from Bermuda recently to South Florida, I was at a family gathering, and it was just announced that the son of actress Regina King, I think her name is Regina King, had died by suicide. And then I remember someone saying, what's with so many people dying by suicide? And then this past weekend, and I didn't know of her, but certainly everything I'm reading is just awesome, beautiful tributes and so on, is a young lady by the name, and just forgive me if I don't pronounce her name correctly, but it looks like Chesley Christ.
Right.
Former pageant winner, 2019 Miss USA. She was a lawyer up in the New York area and also a correspondent for Extra. And apparently she died by suicide, according to reports, and after leaping from her Midtown high rise. And people continue to have these questions and comments, right? And jump into their own conclusions about mental health and depression, and call your friend or check on somebody who's even always smiling and so on. And it just reminds me last week when someone said to me regarding my mom's dad, like, "Oh, Jamal, you're handling it well." And you know, I always say, like, we handle things so differently. Um, Sherry's not going to react the same to me, and I'm not going to react the same to her, regardless of what the situation is. Like,
Yeah.
as I stated yesterday with Jody Virgil we can be brought up in the same household and react differently to things that happen around us in this world. But I guess the question of the morning, and I saw someone from and I didn't save the tweet, and I should have, but they were from the, I believe, psychology space, mental health space, and they were like, the solution isn't calling or just checking on a friend. Now, they didn't say what it was, but they said, it's not. But it still makes me wonder, though, because, you know, and here's the question of the morning that we're going to go put up there. But when was the last time you checked on someone or someone checked on you just because? Like, when was that last time? And do you do it often? Because I'm going to be honest. I'm very horrible at keeping in touch with people. I'm very bad at responding to WhatsApp messages. And that's because they all come at once sometimes, right?
Yeah.
And so I'm unable. And Leanna said something last summer that made a lot of sense. I'll get to it when I get to it, right? But then I'm realizing that some messages that come through may be there for you to get to. Like right now, it may be something that, hey, you don't know this person. You may be the person that they want to talk to. But I want to share this before we go further. My mom was in the hospital in December 2019. 2019. And I went back to Bermuda, spent some night or two in the hospital with her. And one of the nights I gave her some space because she liked her space, right? And I went to the bar, Jasmine Lounge, I think it's called, up from Mount Southampton. And I was sitting up there having a drink with one of my friends. And we were just talking, like, family stuff. And some guy just must have been drinking, whatnot, Bermudian guy, Portuguese guy, and just came and jumped in, interrupted our conversation. And I'm like, we were literally, I weren't drinking at the time, right? So not drinking, we're just having like literally guy bonding time, right? Close friend. And this guy hijacked our conversation, took over. And when he left, probably like an hour later, my friend and I, we looked at each other, and he said to me, he said, "You know what? That conversation could have been one that saved his life." Like, think about it. We don't know why he mentioned something about an ex-girlfriend, but it's like he probably just needed someone to talk to, and we could have been those people that was there for him to lean on or talk to at that time. But what really made him interesting is my friend said, he was like, "Yeah, man, I have a friend that we were talking about a suicide that happened in Bermuda around that time," and he said that yeah, man, like, back when I was a teen, I thought about it a lot of times, but I didn't, because I thought about, if I did, how would it make this person feel?
Right.
And so I only shared that because, honestly, you all think I'm hard, and I mean, whatever, But truthfully, caring about people is so easy. Showing love to people is so easy. Checking up on people is so easy. And we definitely need to do more of it. But the question to you all is, when was the last time you checked on someone or someone checked on you just because?
So Jamal, you said a lot, and this topic for me, is near and close in regards to just the profession that I deal with as well, and personally. I go through depressive moments and feel like, oh gosh, like, when can I get out of this feeling? People laugh at me sometimes. I schedule a cry once a month, like, let's get it out. You know what I mean? And sometimes people keep everything inside. My friend checks on me all the time. Last night, to be specific, she said, "Hey, How you doing? What's going on? I said, a lot's going on. All over the place. I'm unsettled. This is what's, she says, I thought so, but I was just checking in with you. I try to check in with people all the time. And the way that the tip that I like to use is your WhatsApp status. When I see stuff pop up on WhatsApp, I'm like, oh, I haven't talked to this person in a while. Let me check in with them. But that's what I do by nature, is to just check in on people. Talking to people and suicide is very sticky. And trying to be there for your friends as much as you can is can be sticky, because sometimes suicide is way deeper than having that conversation. But it's having that conversation to guide them to the right people that can actually further assist. But if there's somebody that you haven't spoken to in a long time, check in on them and continue to do so, because if you're like me, I'm like, girl, I'm good. I sorted out.
But you just made a valid point, Sherry, that I think needs to be highlighted. When checking on our friends and family, we have to understand we're not professionals.
Absolutely.
That's what I just took from what you said. We're doing it because of love. But if that person, if you know this person, it's something below the surface, what Sherry just said, guide them. Because I'm good at reading energy, but I can't tell like exactly how someone feels. If I feel a certain energy, like especially negative energy, I know how to, distance myself from situations and people. But I'm a person who will remove myself from that space rather than trying to find out what it is, because I'm not a digger. I'm in terms of, I always say I'm not an interviewer because I don't interrogate people. I feel like I want to give people the opportunity to share with me rather than me feeling like I'm getting into their space. Let's go to some comments. Oh, you wanted to say something?
Yeah, because I think that's two different things. Either I think you look at interviewing as very digging and trying to receive, and this interviewing can still be part of a conversation, and just communicating with a person. And it doesn't have to be like, oh, so what you're feeling like today, or it can be general conversations that you're able to pick out exactly what's going on.
That sounds like a skill, Sherry. Sounds like something a social worker would say to me.
Forensic interviewing.
Michelle White says, when people come to mind, I try to reach out, whether by phone, text, or social media DM. I believe there's a reason why people enter our space, so I wouldn't want to think I missed a moment. And I think that goes back to Sherry on what you said about WhatsApp. Like, that's a good strategy that I think maybe I can look at it and say, you know what? That person just put a post. Like, I noticed that I've gotten better with it with my close friends I grew up with. Like, I'll just call them on WhatsApp call or so on if I realize I haven't spoke to them in a while. I know some of my friends who we lost touch over the years that we live in different places now would just call me. But then I have a habit of, again, my phone has been on silent for over a decade, right? So I have a habit, if I don't have my phone around me, of getting a missed call. And so by the time I see the call, it's like probably time I'm about to lay in bed and so on. But honestly, it's something that I really am working on, because we really never know. Just the other day, I got a WhatsApp message saying that a friend of mine, husband, who I'm very close with, his mom passed. And again, I didn't see it for like a day or so, right? And stuff like that. So it's difficult. One of the things that living so far away from a lot of family and friends, it's not easy though, because it's so many people to keep in touch with. So that's why, although I know a lot of people don't like group chats, they're helpful for me. They're helpful for me.
And again, it goes back to your tribe, your circle, your whatever. My friends, if they go a few days without speaking to me, they're like, yo, I ain't talked to you in a couple of days. I'm like, we just talked this weekend. Like, which is like, no, I haven't talked to you. Like, what's going on? And I love that my friends understand me and know that I'm avoiding them. And one of them's like, you're avoiding me. What's going on? We haven't spoken. Like something's happening. So try to be in tune as much as you can. And it's a lot of people. You're absolutely right, Jamel. But I think if you use WhatsApp or you use any other tool to say, hey, what's going on? I haven't spoken to you, well, or everything's okay. It makes a difference. And I understand your phone being on mute. You're talking all day. So I
Exactly.
get it.
And that's it, folks. Like literally when you talk for a living, like you don't want to be on a phone. Trust me. It's like, I learned when I was working at a pizza joint one time, guys, like, I don't eat this crap. I work here. Like,
Right.
I love a pizza with no cheese. Miriam Simmons says, this is good. You have to keep in touch, especially when people lose a loved one. Seems after the burial, everyone forgets you. That's the most important time to be with someone the days after. Well, let's talk about that, because I've dealt with it twice. When my father-in-law passed, when my mom passed, you have so many people that reach out and say, hey, just checking on you if you need anything. And I personally don't like that. I'm being very direct right here, because I'm not a person who says what I don't mean. I'm not a person who says what I don't mean. And so I know that people just think they're being genuine and so on. But for me, I think, my mom always said, for years, my sister and I both said it to the bishop about her service. One song she didn't want played at her service was When We All Get to Heaven. Every service, like US, Bermuda, like it's a song. Like no. Not everybody's good in there, but that's neither here or there. But I guess the point is just because something has been so normal, right, doesn't mean that we should keep saying and doing it. And I'm just waiting for somebody in the audience to say, well, what should they do instead? Everyone's relationship with someone's different. So I can't say what people should do. The relationships are different.
And key to that, I always say, give me a call when you need me, or give me a call if you want to talk to me. I kind of put it back. I kind of put it back on the person, because I understand all of that that's going on. And I tell people who are even closer, hey, make sure, nights are going to be the worst for people. And they're like, why, Shara? I said, because it's quiet. And what happens when it's quiet? Your mind starts going and you start thinking things in. And that's a lot of times when people need the most support is that nighttime. I just want to share something real quick, Jamal. Somebody sent me, you're beautiful inside and out. Even when you struggle, you remain kind and positive. I think you're amazing. I love the quote, but it also just sugarcoats also part of what it is that people go through. Even when you struggle, you're kind and amazing, you're kind and you're loving and you're positive, but deep down inside, I'm dying.
Yeah.
And so it's that digging but don't dig.
Yeah.
And it is a fine art to it.
Indeed. Nicole Walker says, I'm not great at keeping in touch either, but I do try to reach out to people I wouldn't usually run into or plan to hang out with. And I have a good friend that always checks on me. So thankful for that. Well, think about the pandemic. We couldn't hang out with people a lot. We couldn't get around people, So, from that perspective, it's probably been even tougher. Hadley and Stevenson Swan, she says, sometimes I question how genuine the question is, meaning when someone is checking in on me. Some people are asking in hopes to hear bad news, especially if you live a calm and peaceful life. I'm just saying, and yes, very few people are genuine. And this is another thing, and again, this goes back to Hadley and to me saying, like, I don't say things I don't mean, right? So for instance, I'm not going to check on someone who I know really just tolerates me and doesn't like me. You know what I'm saying? Because you know what I'm saying? Like, it just makes no sense. It's like, why am I going to reach out just to kind of try to be nice to this person? Doesn't want me in that space. Me not being in a space is peaceful. But then there are opportunities, like, again, I'm using my close friends, like chat groups have saved and I say friendships in a way, not like we won't be friends if it weren't for being in the same chat group, but it's kept us connected, like through jokes and stuff. So instead of having to communicate individually with one person, we're having group chats. And honestly, I know a lot of people don't like them, but I love them because it really keeps the humanness of the relationship going.
And for you, Jamal, in that situation, you don't feel like you're digging. It's not a one-on-one digging. And if somebody shares it, it's with the group. And so you don't mind feeling a part of that group in that sense. So I totally get it. And you have to go with what it is that you feel comfortable with. And I agree with you. I'm not trying to be nosy or be in people's spaces like that.
That's what you're trying to do. Start lying.
but people trust me.
Indeed. Let's go through finish these few comments. Manuela John says, not to be insensitive, but you have to be able to determine when a person needs to talk and when they need attention. Even when we think they need attention, we need to talk to them to be sure. Very true. I don't think there's nothing insensitive about that, Manuela John. I'm no professional, but I would agree with that based on my own experience. Tanya Cheeseman for you, Sherry.
It's often hard to know if someone is struggling. There are people that are always smiling and upbeat, but don't know what they are really dealing with to know that they need help.
Well, I think this goes back to what Sherry said earlier, Tanya. I'm not if you're just tuning in, but realizing that what we're talking about today is when was the last time you checked in on someone or someone checked in on you. We're not. It's key to remember that if I'm calling you to check up when you say, "Hey, Tanya, just reaching out, how you doing?" I'm not a professional. I'm not there to be a professional. Now, if you need professional help, maybe I can assist you in guiding you that direction. But I'm doing as a friend. I'm checking up on you just to say, "Hey, I haven't heard from you. What's up? What's going on?" You know, that's what I've been able to do with my tight friends. Like, you know, it's something that I haven't done enough. You know, I've had friends going through divorces. I've had friends, you know, going through different situations, and just reach out and like, "Yo, what's up, bro? All good." Even my godchildren, like, you know, checking up on them has been a stretch for me as I miss them grow as children. But the question, folks, I don't know if you've seen it, but would love to get some feedback. When was the last time you checked on someone or someone checked on you just because? Like, you got a call saying, "Hey, it's Sherry. Hey, Sherry, just calling. What you up to?" Nothing. And you're looking like, "What, this person?" When was the last time you got one of those calls? Like, they're confused, like, why they call? Like, you know what I'm saying? Or you done that to someone.
But it's about reading the room, right? So would I even call that person in that sense? I probably would send them a text message. It's about knowing your energy and your space with the people that you are in. It's some people I'm just not going to do that with. And it's some people I've been on the phone at 6 o'clock in the morning, like, "Hey, how you they're like, "I need to call you now." I'm like, "All right," you know. So it's whatever energy or connection you have with that person, and some of it doesn't mean that you will know exactly what's going on, but something about what you said, maybe, or just talking about old times, or, "Hey, you're saying so and so," and just having general conversation. So I think it was Tanya who just said it's not about being deep into or even uncovering sometimes what is being said. It's just being there as a support. And if it comes out, then it comes out. If it doesn't, then, you know.
Running out of time. Let's go. Miriam Simmons says, "Truth, you do check the genuineness, especially if you haven't heard from them in a while." Well, let's bring Leanna into the convo, see what Lee thinks. Leanna Lambert, good morning to you, sister. How is it?
Good morning, guys. I am feeling good on this bright and sunny morning.
Well, I mean, I'm inside. So.
Well, sun hasn't quite come up out here yet. So.
Look, the audience, it's a bright and sunny morning for them. Lee, what bring it to us. Bring it to us. I mean, you don't call me, so I'm not one of those people. You know,
nor I.
What are your thoughts? What are your thoughts?
Well, I'm not usually one. Okay, let me put it this way. A couple years ago, I actually made it one of my goals to check in on people whom I care the most about, who I know not that want to hear from me, but I just feel as if I need to reach out to, just because it's not only just a random act of kindness, but it also shows that person that you care, as we're talking about. I'm not a person that talks in chat groups, as you guys would see. That's not my thing. But I have made it a priority in the last 2 years to reach out to loved ones, to friends, to family, to even just, colleagues, just to let them know, "Hey, I'm just thinking about you. And I care, So I've tried to make that more part of my daily routine.
I haven't seen a part of it yet, but
she said people. She did say people she likes, but anyway,
absolutely right.
Lee, let's get over to the news break, and folks, don't go anywhere. We have another good conversation.
Her friends do a better job.
I'm leaving that alone.
Thanks, Jamal and Sherry, and happy hump day to everyone that is tuned in with us today. We hope everyone is having a great start, as we said, to this bright and sunny morning. I'm Leanna Lambert, and it's time for the Daily Hour News Break, brought to you by People's Pharmacy. In today's top stories, Omicron, the latest wave of the coronavirus, which has caused outbreaks both here and abroad, now has a close cousin, and it's going by the name of BA.2. Now, there are already dozens of cases across almost half of the US of the new COVID subvariant that health officials are saying is even more contagious than the already highly transmissible Omicron variant. Now, the Omicron subvariant, which we said is known as BA.2.2, is 1.5 times more transmissible than the original Omicron strain, which is starting to outcompete in parts of Europe and Asia. According to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, although BA.2 has increased in proportion to the original Omicron strain in some countries, it is currently circulating at a low level in the US. Now, some early reports indicate that BA.2 may be even more infectious than the already extremely contagious BA.1, but there is no evidence so far that is more likely to evade vaccine protection. Now, experts say, as with other variants, an infection with BA.2 can be detected by coronavirus home test kits, though they cannot indicate which variant is responsible. In other news, some of the world's most influential young business leaders are here on island as part of the month-long residency program. Now, the event, organized by the business magazine Forbes, will see 30 innovators, game changers, and disruptors on the island to mentor and network with local businesses. The event kicked off last night with a reception and a welcoming speech from Premier David Burt at Host Hotel, Hamilton Princess. Now, about 20 Bermudian entrepreneurs will be paired with Forbes 30 Under 30 entrepreneurs in partnership with the Bermuda Economic Development Corporation. The Bermudians will get a weekly mentor meeting to help to develop their business ideas and scale their product or service. Charles Jeffers II, Chief Executive Officer of the Bermuda Tourism Authority, which is supporting the event, said, quote, "We are thrilled that Forbes chose Bermuda for its first ever month-long residency program. This group of innovators and business leaders from around the world are here to work and network and will also have plenty of time to explore and enjoy the island," end quote. And the end-to-end is back in full effect for 2022 after the event had to be scaled down for the past 2 years because of the COVID-19 pandemic. Now, this year's end-to-end has a new titled sponsor after the international insurance and reinsurance firm Convix Group Limited stepped in to support the annual event. The Bermuda End-to-End Charitable Trust announced the partnership today in advance of its 35th anniversary of the island's top fundraising events. Now, the Convex End-to-End will start in St. George's on May 7th at 7 a.m. for walkers and 9 a.m. for cyclists. The Middle to End cycle launches at 8:30 a.m. from the Botanical Gardens in Paget, with the Middle to End walkers setting off at 10. Now, the fun walk is to start at 2 p.m. on the railway trail at Beacon Hill Roads in Sands. Participants will cross the finish line, as we know, in front of the Clock Tower Mall in the Royal Naval Dockyard. Taking a look at today's weather, we have a high near 69 and a low near 62 degrees. We'll see a bright and sunny start to the day with a light northerly breeze. Weak troughing and a decayed front will drift into the area throughout the day, maintaining the potential for showers and increasing winds from the afternoon and evening. Thereafter, high pressure settles in from the northeast and promises a dry and sunny end to the week with easing winds. Seasonal temperatures remain. That's all for the Daily Hour News Break, brought to you by People's Pharmacy. But before we go, we want to leave you with a few helpful tips from your favorite community pharmacist. Now, here are 4 reasons why vitamin D is essential to you. 1, in the winter, there is less sunlight. 2, FDA recommends anyone over 50 years of age to take a daily vitamin D supplement. 3, to keep your bones and muscles healthy, and 4, to promote calcium absorption. And if you have darker skin, it's even more important to supplement with a quality vitamin D, especially in the winter or if you work indoors. Now, please reach out to your people's pharmacist or trusted healthcare team members for help navigating supplements to help support your wellness. Now, let's head back to Jamal and Sherry in the studio for today's Daily Focus.
Thanks so much for that, Lee. Every time you look, it's a new variant, but yeah,
What's over here rolling my eyes?
Yeah.
Seriously.
What you got for us today, Sherry?
Today is Groundhog Day.
Yes, it is.
Yes, we're gonna find out whether we have more winter time or if spring's gonna come early. So if anybody doesn't know, the groundhog comes out, and if the shadow shows, then what is that? More springtime, and if it's less, then more winter time. Stop running your eyes. And today is also National Sign-In Day. So for any high school student that is eligible to commit to a football team, as far as men in regards to college, they do it today.
So basically, a meteorologist.
Oh Lord.
The meteorologist for this day is a hedgehog. So we rely on a hedgehog to let us know the weather. Well, I guess that's no different from a real meteorologist anyway. But hey, you know what, Lee? Have yourself a wonderful day.
He just wanted to,
he had to just throw it in there, right? He just had to.
What is it, Lee?
I thought I was giving the hedgehog a compliment. Anyway.
Yeah, Sonic. Okay. That's what we're going to call you today, Sonic.
Yeah, Sonic.
Leanna, we'll see you tomorrow on your rude self.
Bye, guys.
Later. All right, folks, we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be back with Tamara Richardson after this. It should be a good conversation. Let your friends know. It's getting interesting.
Are you a small business or organization looking for new ways to reach a greater audience? Well, here's your chance to get your ad on BTG Radio, Good Day Bermuda, and Bermuda's daily talk show, The Daily Hour. Send an email to contact@bermudacommunications.com.
We're featuring a true frequent flyer this month, Bragg Live Food Products. Paul Bragg was the man behind the products, and during his lifetime originated health food stores and promoted nutrition education throughout the media, helping us make healthful choices when we shop for and prepare food. Best known for his live cider vinegar, Bragg also brings us a variety of super nutritious and flavorful foods and condiments. Try the star product that helped launch the entire enterprise, Bragg Raw Unfiltered Apple Cider Vinegar. Lindo's, why go anyplace else?
Mom's celebrating her 70th birthday next month. Have you noticed her age is catching up with her?
Yeah. Plus, she's having a hard time getting up and around like she's used to. I would sure hate to see her fall.
At Medical House Limited, we can help make life situations easier. We have electric beds, motorized scooters, bath stools, walkers, you name it.
Mom's been real good to us. We'll get her birthday and Christmas gifts from Medical House.
Medical House has relocated next to the Dendy Town Field, number 6 Bakery Lane, Pembroke. Telephone 292-3622.
All right, welcome back to the big show. Sherry Vanderpool, I'm Jamal Hartman. It's the Daily Hour brought to you by Medical House, One Communications, Lindo's, and People's Pharmacy. Without further ado, let's bring in our guest for the day, live today, actually. Tamara Richardson, welcome to the show, madame. How are you?
Good morning to both of you. I'm great. How are both of you?
I mean,
I'm wonderful. I don't know about Jamal.
I'm not a meteorologist, but I'm not a hedgehog either. But I'm okay. I'm okay. Just funny. It's weird to me how people rely
One of the few things you're not good at.
Yeah,
reading you rather like a groundhog.
Yeah, exactly. I guess it's a learned skill. I don't have those capabilities yet. But Tamara, thank you so much. First time in 2022.
Yes, and I believe first time with Sherry, or am I?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Yes, it's a first time for us. So this is wonderful. I thought about that. I was like, it's the first time I'm talking to Tammy.
So it's been a while then. It's been a while. So
it has been a while, and I'm so surprised by the amount of people as I go about life in Bermuda who are asking me where have I been. It's amazing how far your show reaches. You guys do a fantastic job. So.
Thank you. And let me just say, folks, I like throwing a little person on the bus, right? But her not being here is her schedule. Let me just put it to you like that. It's her schedule. Like I literally, Tamara, are you available to come? I'm not. She's a busy person, and honestly, it really, if people knew the amount of stuff you do, I think they would be a bit shocked. Like I literally try to buy time with you, and it's amazing what goes into what you do. Because yeah, like I mean, it's incredible because I think people only see surface. They don't see the work that goes on. Like this show, people think we just go live on social media for an hour, not realizing the amount of stuff that we have to do to prepare for one episode. So I say all that to thank you, honestly, thank you for making the time to be a part of what we're trying to do in the community with this show. And today we're going to be talking about redefining our best. And before we get into it, just explain, because it's almost a year, it'd be another month, a year we've been doing the movement moment. And I think from topics about water intake to mental health to CBD, sleep, it's just been good conversations and discussions after one another. But today we're going to talk about redefining our best. What does that mean?
So if we just step back a moment, I created the movement with Tamara to try to help people harness the powers that they have control over to live their best life. But at some point, I had to check myself. I had to check my own privilege, and I had to accept that I needed to, I guess, roll it back a bit, because what is your best, right? You need to know where you're headed in life in order to know how to get there. So I need, in my opinion, to help people understand that defining your best matters as much as harnessing the power to live your best life. If you think your best is what Tamara's best looks like, you might be unhappy, because I might have more means, I might have more free time, I might have more access to what my best looks like. So let me help you define what your best is for you. And honestly, right now, with the amount of variance, with the amount of anxiety, with the amount of financial stress people are under, sometimes your best, honestly, is just getting up, putting one foot in front of the other, and making it through the day. And that's okay. But if you get up and if you put one foot in front of the other, but you tell yourself all your thoughts are, I should have been doing so much more, it's going to be very hard to feel like that's your best. So so this year, my focus really, words have power, words matter. So my focus this year is really on helping people truly define their best, and then to be able to access that best life.
And saying all of that, Tamara, when we're looking at other people, because that's what ends up happening, right? On social media, on the images that we see. And this is telling us this is the best, cars are the best, money is the best. How are you able to help people to kind of scale back that image of what is being put in front of them, of what is considered the best?
So I think people need a bit of a reality check. There's an entire industry called the marketing industry that puts billions of dollars into selling this idea of what best looks like. Buy this cream, buy this podcast, buy this webinar, and you will have, X, Y, or Z. But sometimes, like, I'm on chapter 46 in life. I go 46 this year. My best at chapter 46 wasn't necessarily my best at chapter 30. So if you're 30, what I'm selling at 46 might not be for you. So sometimes I think people have to take a little bit more responsibility and do a little bit more investigation into the message and the messenger. Right? Just because you see some magical cream that, erases the years, that person might also be eating right, getting enough sunshine, getting enough sleep.
Exactly.
So look at the message and the messenger, and then also take some responsibility, which it sounds harsh, but we do need to take some responsibility and realize we have the power. and we are in control. There's no magic pill.
And that's awesome for you to say, because there isn't any, but people really believe that that shiny button is out there, and if I can get it, my life is going to be just awesome. So what steps do we need to take to redefine what our best is, and not be looking for this shiny this shiny coin?
So, like I said, words matter, but before the words are your thoughts. Your thoughts truly do matter. And redefining your best really simply is check your thoughts. Right now, what are you going through? What are you dealing with? Where are you in life? Because your best is going to be determined by that. If you're a woman, hormones change as you age. Trust me when I tell you, no matter how much you run on the treadmill, there are some other things you're going to have to do at a certain age in order to be like to have your best body, or that body you're trying to achieve. So no matter how much you're paying your physical trainer, at a certain point in life, there are some other things you have to do to achieve that best. So your thoughts need to change first. You need to check in with yourself. How am I feeling today? What's going on in my life today? What do I need today to feel like my best? Because it might be different from yesterday. So every morning, I tend to just take a breather, check in with myself. If yesterday I had a really, really exhausting day, then today it might not be that perfect day that I prefer to have. Today I might just need to sleep later and skip that morning exercise. Today I might need a milkshake.
Yes.
Right. And that's okay. So watch your thoughts, because they become your words. Watch your words, because they become your actions. It's very cliche, but it's also very true.
We're in a new year. January has come and gone thus far, and we're now into February, and everyone kicks off the new year with just everything: the exercising, the meditating, the hearing the sounds, this, that, and the other. But how do we maintain this? I'm just a big believer on the long haul and not the short term. And that shiny thing makes you think that it's going to happen right here in February. How can we maintain it? Yeah. How can we maintain it?
So that's the reason why I actually created and invested my time in creating a year of work, because I realize that it takes every day, every choice to get to your best. And once you arrive at what you think is your best, you are going to have a new best. You're always growing, you're always changing. So for me, in order to escape that whole, January through April boom and bust, it really is breaking it down to a daily, one choice, one meal, one happy thought at a time. If by April you achieve that, let's just say we're talking about physical, right? If by April you achieve that physical, people start telling you you're looking good, blah, 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 and you slip back, then by May, June, you will be where you were in January. But if by April you're still checking in with yourself every day, you have new goals, you have you've developed new habits because you're taking things day by day, then chances are you will be able to sustain that success. But physical isn't everything. Mental and spiritual, we absolutely have to start focusing on as well. Physical is just, what you see. So it tends to be what we talk about the most.
A byproduct of what it is. And
real quickly, I just need to go back, because everything you're saying ties into what the original conversation was this morning. And I want to visit something, because Sherry mentioned it earlier about basically comparative lives of our best due to social media. And a lot of people don't understand. Marketing is psychology. Like some of the greatest psychologists are the best marketers, right? We always think of psychology as a person that helps people. And truthfully, psychologists sometimes do the opposite in terms of marketing, right? But I want to go to something that I think we would be foolish to ignore as part of this conversation. Quote, turning 30 feels like a cold reminder that I'm running out of time to matter in society's eyes, and it's infuriating. This is what was written by Chesley Christ in I believe it was Essence or Allure essay published on March 4th entitled "A Pageant Queen Reflects on Turning 30." When you see something like that, and then her last post on social media, I believe she said, rest well, easy. I don't have it in front
I think
of
it was now you can rest at peace or something like that. And let's say she had counseling in there as well.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
With all this said, with all that, and again, what you mentioned earlier, Sherry, and what we've been speaking about, Tamara, I feel like we do think our best is supposed to be other people's best. So how do we really change the mindsets? Because it is a mindset, right? You would agree. How do we get to people to understand that you may not, okay, I'm only 5'7". Yeah, I gave myself a quarter inch. I'm only 5'7". I always wanted to play in the NBA, right?
Yes.
I was actually pretty good at basketball.
Yes.
But I knew the chances of going into the NBA were probably slim. Now, some people would say, "Oh, you're being negative." You spoke about speak positivity, but sometimes you have to be realistic, right? And then say, you know what can I do to get me close to where I want to be, even though I may not be in that actual position? But how do we change mindsets in that respect?
It's might be two separate issues, but on that specific issue with how do we change mindsets, how do we get people to accept reality, particularly as Black people, we've spent a lot of time fighting for equal access to opportunities, but somehow we think, or we've morphed that into thinking we will have equal access and opportunity to results. Just because you're 5'7", yes, you have all the opportunity to get into the NBA. That doesn't mean you're going to outplay Shaquille O'Neal or whoever, because you have equal access to the opportunity to get there, but you're not going to necessarily have the same results.
Yeah.
And so let's just say, you want some mega mansion. We all might have that opportunity to get it, but we might not necessarily have that same result. So we have to, I guess, reel it back and say, why are we so consumer focused or so material focused? Shouldn't, maybe we need to redefine for society what success actually is, and stop allowing success to be so material and consumer based. But that's a whole other conversation. And just on the topic of people dying by suicide, honestly, it's not a one size fits all. I don't know anything about her story. I will say that, pharmacology wise, toxicology wise, there are certain classes of drugs people can be on that when you don't get them or when you miss them, you're more prone to suicidal thoughts. I have absolutely no history on this person at all. I just would say that whenever anybody dies suddenly, under any circumstance, there are always questions. And so to your conversation earlier about checking in on people, sometimes you have to just accept that you did the best you could with what you knew. And unfortunately, this is the result. And unfortunately, her family sadly is left to ask those questions.
Let me just add in though, Jamal. I know it was a joke, but let's start being honest with ourselves from the very beginning. If you're 5'6", you're 5'6". You know what I mean? And I'm just talking about mindset. Let's start being honest with ourselves about what it is that we truly are and who we truly are at that time. And another part of what Tamara said in regards to classes of medications, and I'm going to be fully transparent, plus size, weight issues. I took an type of amphetamine and I was like, I don't like how this is making me feel. I just instantly stopped it without weaning it off. And what happened? Very depressive, emotional thoughts of suicide and wondering what the heck is wrong with me. But the doctor never told me that this was a side effect. So you're absolutely right. And it's the feeling of that would turn you crazy because you're wondering what's wrong with you. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. And a good pharmacist would have told you that. So hopefully it wasn't people. So you got
No, this was years ago. It was years ago, but it did start my therapy journey real quick.
But I want to highlight.
Seriously, but to that point, honestly,
Sorry.
the value of your pharmacist, and okay, I'm here talking about movement, but also people's pharmacy because I wear many hats. That is the value of your pharmacist in your healthcare journey. Your doctor writes you a prescription based on what you're feeling right now. Your pharmacist will counsel you on how you will feel when you take that medicine, how you will feel if you stop taking that medicine, how you will feel if you take that medicine with things that are counteractive. It's too early right now, but right. So having that relationship with the people in your healthcare team matters. Right? You don't just go and pick up your prescription. Ask questions. There was an article in the paper from a cardiologist about questioning. Last week, my movement moments were about questioning. We need to ask more questions and take more control of
to be your best
outcomes. To be your best.
I want to go back to what Sherry said, because I don't think that can be emphasized enough or highlighted. And I think it really brings together this entire conversation is being realistic. But the question remains, what does realistic mean and look like to everybody? Right.
Right.
I think it was Charles Barkley, just using another basketball reference. And he said, at the end of the day, it didn't make sense to continue chasing a dream that just kept going further and further away, as in regards to him winning the championship, like going and playing for a different team that has a great shot. Like, if it's not meant to be, at some point we have to face that reality and realize, you know what, it's just not meant to be. But let's end it. I have Dronda Butterfield. She says social media hasn't helped, and we've discussed this.
Social media hasn't helped, but social media is here to stay, and so we control what we can, and that's ourselves. We can't keep thinking things are going to change. We have to change ourselves. And that starts from checking in with yourself, knowing yourself.
But I guess my question out of what she's saying is, it is here to stay. Social media, like, it has a lot of great benefits, right? I always say, for me, when it comes to social media, I follow things or people that I can learn from. That's it. I'm not into celebrities. I'm not into like popularity and people liking me. I follow things that can benefit me, the individual, to become a better person. How do we educate people? We talk about finances in school and so on, right? Would you say, from an academic formal education perspective, that we need more education components when it comes to mental health and dealing with social media and comparativeness and just overall life goals?
Yeah, just like we talked about focusing on consumerism and materialism, we're schooled to attain, financial wealth. We're not schooled to be able to communicate healthily with each other. We're not schooled to be emotionally healthy and spiritually healthy. So absolutely. But again, we don't necessarily have control over what's taught in these schools. So it's time for us to seek that education for ourselves. It's time to make sure our children have the tools that they need to be successful in a healthy way. And so that's one of the reasons why I perhaps have not been as forward facing, because I felt like it was time to step back and make sure that I was producing content that didn't add to the problems that we saw in this world, right? It's all well and good for Tamara to say travel's a power to get to your best health, but I have to make sure that that's framed in a context so that, it takes a certain privilege to be able to travel in a certain way. But travel doesn't necessarily mean jumping on a jet, going hither and everywhere. Travel can be in your mind. Travel can be through how you read. So I wanted to take a step back to make sure I wasn't, like I said, adding to the problems.
Got you.
Indeed. And honestly, it's appreciated. And, I love the fact that when, in Bermuda, and it's hard, it's tough. And I don't mean to be disrespectful, because I know many of you think I am, but no, I'm not good at recognizing people with masks. But Tamara had told me a couple times, people would say stuff, and the amount of people that recognize me with a mask on, and I'm just like, how do you do this? But I'm glad that people appreciate what you've brought to the Daily Hour and what you're doing through the movement moment with Tamara Donnell. I think what I get out of the whole experience with you is this, and I said this the other day on Twitter. It's really not about being popular. It's not about loves or likes. It's about creating content that can benefit people who need what it is that you're sharing. And for that, I am extremely grateful, knowing that your crazy schedule is what it is, but you still take the time to really share your gift with people, especially trusting this platform to do it. So I can't thank you enough. Let's just go through one more comment. And just before you head out, Rashida Godwin said, absolutely. It said that in life, we are supposed to receive 2 educations. The first one is the one they give you. The second one is the education you give yourself. Tamara is so inspiring, and this conversation is appreciated very much. And thank you for that.
Thank you to that commenter. Like, our voice is our power, right? And the 3 of us, that's perhaps one of our skills. And my goal is to use my power to help others. So I really appreciate that comment.
No problem. And Tamara, I'm not trying to make you emotional. Just one more before we let you go. Michelle White says, I love this real talk with Tammy. Honest dialogue may not be what you want to hear, but is needed. And on that note, is there anything else you want to let people know? You have any events? They can just follow you or subscribe so that they can learn more. And when is the next time you'll be on next?
Follow and subscribe. In order to be my best, I do have to travel. So I'll be away for the next few weeks. So I'll be back live at the end of March, I believe. But next up for movement, I recognize this is a lot of content. So my goal is to get this into a book and a journal so that people can have daily doses of what they need to be their best. And I just want to leave people with this thought. You are in the driver's seat. You are in control, and you have the power. Question everything. Check in with yourself. Check in on your health. Get these medical tests done, diagnose. Don't ignore what you know. You don't need a COVID test to tell you don't feel well. If you don't feel well, do what you need to do. So you're in control, people. You don't need the government to tell you what to do.
Not at all. Yeah, not at all. Tamara Richardson, Movement Moment. Thank you so much, and we will be in touch very soon.
Bye, Tam.
Bye.
All right, folks, if you appreciated that conversation with Tamara, make sure you give us a thumbs up, a love, a like. Such important conversations. I tell you, I love doing this show. I said this about Jody yesterday. I said, I really, really love these conversations. And it seems like now I'm saying it again. And yes, folks, these conversations are here to help us as a community. And I really, really do hope that we take it in. We consider the information that's discussed and shared and see how it can help us as individuals, both in our personal and professional lives. We're going to take a quick break, and then we're going to come back and do the daily play and wrap it up. Make sure you share these kind of conversations as well. Don't keep good information to yourself. It's not right. All right.
A lot happens around your home. That is why at One Communications, we have introduced affordable security and video monitoring, because everyone should be able to afford to protect their family. Anytime, from anywhere, One Home Security keeps you connected and puts security in your hands with an easy-to-use smartphone app to control everything. Home security is important to keep you and your family safe. Motion-activated cameras around your home and security monitoring within create a complete security system providing protection both inside and outside your home. Professional monitoring means that there's someone on call with 24/7 protection to notify the authorities and help keep you and your loved ones safe. We are dedicated to whole home protection with indoor and outdoor cameras, smart door locks, motion sensors, and more, so you'll always be connected to what matters most. With professional installation, no upfront hardware fees, and low monthly rates, because keeping your family safe should be affordable for everyone. Total home video monitoring and security. There's no better way to protect your home than with One Home Security.
All right. Thanks again to Tamara Richardson. Folks, like I said, if you appreciated the conversation, found the information helpful, give us a thumbs up, a love, a like, and make sure you share these conversations with someone. It could be through WhatsApp, it could be through email, social media. Just make sure we're sharing this information. Thanks again to People's Pharmacy Medical Halls, One Communications Analytics for ensuring we're able to do this with you on a daily basis. So before we get to the daily play and wrap it up, so I don't want to age her, but a big happy birthday shout out to my youngest sister, Jada Utterbridge. And really, it's funny because I wanted to say how old she got. I'm like, nah, she ain't beating me up. Baby sister, but, we got this argument, this little debate whether she's taller than me or not. And so I think she's got me slightly, so I'm not going to keep her age, but I'm so happy to see her grow into the young woman she is today. Hope she's keeping warm up there in Rhode Island and enjoying her birthday. So happy birthday to Jada. And it's time for the Daily Play, brought to you by Heineken 0.0. Great taste, no alcohol. Sherry, are you ready?
Sure.
Sure, folks. Help her out, folks. Help her out. Who composed and sang the classic song? You ready for it?
Come on.
Classic song, Bermuda is Another World.
Is it Hubert? What's his name? Am I in the right? I'm in the right water, right?
Kind of, sort of.
Herbert. I see him. Afro. Hubert Smith. I got half a point.
Wow, we've got people actually saying different names. Karen Simmons said John Woolridge. Traveling Trotty said Gene Steed. Shikarana, you got it. It's Hubert Smith. So it was actually Hubert Smith and the Coral Islanders, which was his band. Yes, that is the original composer and singer of Bermuda is Another World. Yeah.
Wow.
You know how the song goes. Bermuda is another world. Yeah, whatever. I'm not gonna get you all didn't pay for that. I'm not gonna sing it all. You didn't pay for that. No, I'm not gonna do that for you. Sherry, final thoughts on today's show.
As you can see, this is something that I'm very passionate about, this whole topic. But the main thing about the first part of our conversation is to check in on your friends, and just as much as you can, be there for them as much as it's allowed. Also with Tamara, that was a pleasure meeting her for the first time in regards to living your best and giving us some realistic expectations about how to achieve our best. I loved it.
Indeed. No, you know what? I agree with all you said. I think I say this a lot, and Sherry knows this. I am not an expert at anything. I literally am not an expert at most of the topics we talk about. My job is to facilitate conversation in hopes that we can find solutions as a community, which is why we bring people on who have more expertise about the things that we discuss.
Mm-hmm.
So I appreciate the audience engaging with us in these conversations. I'm grateful for Tamara. Again, what she said, and I hope people got this as well, is so she had to take a break and make sure that what she's given is, what people need, and she has to be her best to be able to deliver her, the best to you and speak from where she's speaking from. Sometimes we have to look within and see, is other changes we need to make. Humility. You got some daily inspiration for us, Sherry?
I do. If everything was perfect, you would never learn and you would never grow.
I love that one.
Beyonce knows.
All right, Bay. All right. Karen Simmons asking, do we have a letter today or did I miss it? No, Karen, you missed. The final letter was given on Monday. So
Yes.
If you know the answer, send it to us. We will be letting you know who the winner is at the end of this week, likely.
One last thing. Happy 15th birthday to my goddaughter, Tana Edwards. That's Karen's niece. So I just was like, oh yeah, happy 15th birthday.
You calling numbers. My sister ain't look, I don't even say it like you all.
She's 15. She's all right.
All right. I don't know. Look, I was always told you don't tell a woman's age as a man, and you don't ask her weight. All this comes, I avoid that stuff. I'm not trying to get sucked. But anyway, happy 15th birthday to the young lady. And again, folks, if you know Jada, even if you don't, wish Jada and Tana, is it Tana?
Tana. Mm-hmm.
Tana. happy birthday on this February 2nd, 2022. Thanks again to our partners, Medical House, One Communications, Lindo's, and People's Pharmacy for ensuring that we're able to do this for you on a daily basis. As always, we appreciate you. We love you. And we thank you for making us part of your daily routine. If all goes well, we'll be back to do this again with you tomorrow. She's Sherry Vanderpool. I'm Jamel Hartman. My friends, make it a great and safe day. We're out. Peace.